The legendary Emerald Tablet and its sources of the universe. This is more for our knowledge, not that I agree with it, because what we've read so far, we've read up to the end of book 5 or 6, and you can see that in my playlist on the Emerald Tablets, and Thoth, the Atlantean, Hermes Trismegistus, is because we want to know what they say. And he does refer to the underworld. He does refer to the master sitting on the throne in this underworld. He does refer to this, what he describes looking like a direct energy device that zaps those people that don't agree with them and obliterates them into dust. And he does describe that he had a spaceship that sits under a cat looking like a human, I guess describing it like a sphinx, in some plateau in ancient Egypt. He does describe building pyramids on top of this. So from what Thoth tells us in these tablets, there is an ancient spacecraft, his spacecraft, that he used to make his space travels with, sitting under some sphinx, someplace in ancient Egypt that has pyramids in the area. Now we know the Joshua pyramid has pyramids, and in the area, that's where they have the 25 granite boxes of 100 tons each. The lid alone is 30 tons. One of the videos that we did on the Joshua pyramids and the granite boxes shows that it could have been used for a battery that works from the process of fermentation, and it lit up the battery, the box, and the whole pyramid that the box was in. This is the area of the Joshua in Saqqara, and that these pyramid complexes had whole cities underneath. And these underground cities and the subterranean realm is what Thoth in these Emerald Tablets talks about. So that's the Joshua pyramid, which is older than the Giza pyramid, the Giza plateau. And then we have, of course, the Sphinx, and they said that there's a second Sphinx in the Giza plateau. And the Sphinx is supposedly full of underground luxurious cities, over 1,000 chambers, and chambers and tunnels that lead to areas underneath connecting, that is, to the Giza pyramids. So very interesting stuff there. And Thoth talks about using his magic, and that before the flood, he does talk about the Great Flood, that there were those that, not all the Nephilim and Anunnaki were killed off during the flood, and he had sent them to other areas of the world with his knowledge, quote unquote, with his quote unquote knowledge and secrets of the universe. So let's go into this now. This is just more information, but we will continue with the actual tablet texts, so that when a topic comes up concerning Thoth and Hermes Trismegistus and the legendary Emerald Tablets, we'll have some information at our fingertips as to what this thing is, and it's not at all having to do with a clean spiritual life. He did talk, Thoth did talk about the most possible reason for Atlantis being sunk is the haughtiness and the terrible usage of this so-called secrets of the universe knowledge, that they were abusing and disusing it to the danger and to the danger of mankind and the world. That they were letting in demonic entities from quote unquote gates and portals. So they could have been using incantations and curses and bringing in demonic entities, just like William Schnoebelen did at one point before he became Christian. And he goes around warning people about the Masonic Brotherhood and the use of black and all types of magic. And they had opened up a gate at one point, and this entity came in. It was so horrid that they just ran out of their house and they left the gate opened, this quote-unquote interdimensional gate, and they just ran out of the house and they don't even know what else came out from that interdimensional gate. And they don't even know where this entity, this horrid demonic being is roaming the face of the earth. So this is what was going on during the time of Atlantis, and through, I guess, divine intervention, as we know, obviously that's what it was, according to the records of the Old Testament concerning the flood, the Great Flood, the deluge, at the time of Noah. And what Thoth here tells us is because of the fact that they were dealing with spiritual forces that they shouldn't have been dealing with. So this thing here now, the legendary Emerald Tablets and its secrets of the universe. And again, it's for information so that we know to keep away from this stuff. And when the discussion comes up, you can have enough information to bring people back to Christ, okay, and away from this stuff. Now, the origins of Western alchemy can be traced back to Hellenistic Egypt. You know, at the time of Alexander the Great, all of Egypt became Greek under his power. His generals divided his kingdom into four. Alexander the Great's heirs didn't inherit his the areas that he conquered. It was his four generals. One of them the one that took Egypt was Ptolemy. So the Hellenistic Egypt, particular in the city of Alexandria, that's the city Alexander the Great established. One of the most important characters in the mythology of alchemy is Hermes Trismegistus. Hermes the thrice great. Trismegistus is Greek word, 3 times great. The name of this figure is derived from the Egyptian god of wisdom, Thoth, Thoth, and his Greek counterpart, Hermes. The Hermetica, which is said to be written by Hermes Trismegistus, or Trismegistus as they say in English, is generally regarded as the basis of Western alchemical philosophy and practice. They believe that they can turn base metal into gold and silver. They also believe that they, through all this, could find the elixir of life and eternal life. So, in addition, Hermes Trismegistus is also believed to be the author of the Emerald Tablet, that is Thoth. Thoth and his tablets that he wrote. So the legends of the Emerald Tablet. Now, why did he write them on emerald? Well, that's one answer that we have not. That's one question we don't have an answer to yet. Why emerald? Why not gold? Why not granite? Why not something else? He wrote them on emerald tablets. Why not sapphire or diamond? I have no idea. So the legend of the Emerald Tablet is said to be a tablet of emerald or green stone inscribed with secrets of the universe. The source of the original Emerald Tablet is unclear, hence it's surrounded by legends. The most common story claims that the tablet was found in a caved tomb under the statue of Hermes in Tiana, clutched in the hands of the corpse of Hermes Trismegistus himself. Well, he must not have been able to find the elixir of eternal life since he died, and his corpse was clutching these emerald tablets. But the creator of the emerald tablets has been provided in myth as the Egyptian god Thoth, who Armando May writes, quote, divided his knowledge into 42 plates of emerald, codified the great scientific principles ruling the universe. The legend tells that after the god's fall, the hermetic tablets were cleverly hidden so that no human being might find them. Only Thoth, on his return to that dimension, was able to recover the mysterious book. Well, look, I mean, that contradicts what Thoth was telling us, because it says, take my knowledge and use it, blah, 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 and to be the children of quote-unquote light, Well, if he wanted people to know his knowledge and use it, and that's why he wrote all these 42 tablets, then how is it that he didn't want anyone to know all these secrets? Why did he write them down? That contradicts what he was telling us in all these books that we've already read so far. We've read up to number 6. Now, another legend suggests that it was the third son of Adam and Eve, Seth, who originally wrote it. I don't believe that because it's full of things that are against what God teaches us. And Seth was supposedly the replacement for Abel. And I would say that he would not have dared to write anything like this, or not even think it. So they said it was Seth who originally wrote it. Others believe that the tablet was once held within the Ark of the Covenant. Again, I don't believe that, because it's not godly, this stuff that's written in there. Some even claim that the original source of the Emerald Tablet is none other than the fabled city of Atlantis. Yeah, because he refers to himself saying that he's an Atlantean. So, while various claims have been made regarding the origins of the Emerald Tablet, as yet no verifiable evidence has been found to support them. The oldest documentable source of the Emerald Tablet text is the Kitab Sir al-Haliki, the Book of the Secret of Creation and the Art of Nature, which was itself a composite of earlier works. Well, let's remember that a lot of these magicians would conjure up soulless beings, the Goyim, that, just like William Schnobel and his wife did at one time when they opened up this interdimensional portal, and that even the Hebrews had the secret knowledge of doing, conjuring up demonic beings that were able to have a body made of the earth, of dust, and looking like they were some kind of robotic, soulless things. So there was some, having to do with some cabal stuff. So there, I guess there is a way that these curses or incantations or black magic stuff can create these soulless entities roaming around and creating havoc. And that's something that, of course, Thoth told us that the Atlanteans were doing that and more, that were harmful, tremendously harmful, not only to humanity but space. And that's why Atlantis was sunk and destroyed. So, going on with this was an Arabic work written in 8th century AD attributed to Balinus, or Pseudo-Apollonius of Tyana. It's Balinus who provides us with the story of how he discovered the Emerald Tablet in the caved tomb, and based on his Arabic work, some believe that the Emerald Tablet was also an Arabic text and written between the 6th and 8th centuries AD rather than a piece of work from antiquity, as many claimed. So while Balinus claimed that the Emerald Tablet was written originally in Greek, the original document that he purportedly possessed no longer exists, if indeed it exists at all. Some say the text burned up in the Library of Alexandria. Well, how can the text burn up when it's an emerald? An emerald cannot burn up. So, nevertheless, Balinus' version of the text itself quickly became well known and has been translated by various people over the centuries. For instance, an early version of the Emerald Tablet also appears in the work called the Kitab Usdukas al-Tani, the second book of the Elements of the Foundation, which is attributed to Jabir ibn Hayyan. It would take several, however, centuries before the text was accessible to Europeans. In the 12th century AD, the Emerald Tablet was translated into Latin by Hugo von Santala. So what's written on the Emerald Tablet? Well, the Emerald Tablet would become one of the pillars of Western alchemy. It was a highly influential text in medieval and Renaissance alchemy, and probably still is today. In addition to translations of the Emerald Tablet, numerous contemporaries have also been written regarding its contents. For instance, a translation by Isaac Newton was discovered among his alchemical papers. This translation is currently being held in King's College Library in Cambridge University. Other notable researchers of the Emerald Tablet include Roger Bacon, Albertus Magnus, John Dee, and Aleister Crowley, the Satanist. And today, knowledge of the legendary Emerald Tablet, at least one interpretation of it, is reaching new audiences with its presence in the surreal German language series Dark. Yes, Dark. The interpretation of the Emerald text is not a straightforward matter, as it is, after all, a piece of esoteric text. One interpretation, for instance, suggests that the text describes 7 stages of alchemical transformation: calcination, dissolution, separation, fermentation, conjunction, distillation, and coagulation. Now, at fermentation, remember, that's what supposedly was taking place in the Saqqara granite boxes. The fermentation, they would throw in various things in there, including a huge cow and the apis cow, and with the fermentation, the carbon dioxide would press along the huge weight of the walls of the granite tomb, and the quartz in the granite, the crystals in the granite would somehow vibrate in frequency and create electricity. It was like a type of a battery. And the whole box, the granite box, and the area, the pyramid that it was in, would light up with a faint blue light, very strong, and light up the whole area. So, yeah, he does talk about that. We haven't gotten to that yet in our reading of the texts, but we will. So, yet despite the various interpretations available, it seems that none of their authors claim to possess knowledge of the whole truth. Furthermore, readers are encouraged to read the text and try to interpret and find the hidden truth themselves. So this was from the article Legendary Emerald Tablets and its Secrets of the Universe, under Creative Commons here on Collective Spark. And we will continue the reading of them because you have to know what's in there. One of the strange things that we found was, of course, that he has buried his spaceship in a secret location underneath what he describes as a sphinx, in an area with a plateau with pyramids, and it's sitting there under the sphinx. So if you'd like to listen to the Emerald Tablets, you can see them, find them on my playlist, The Emerald Tablets. And for your reference, as you're driving or doing things around the house, just for your reference, please subscribe, share, ring the bell for more videos, and comment. Thank you very much for your support. And again, Happy New Year, healthy, prosperous, with blessings. Thank you. If you'd like to join me on my Patreon account, you will hear content not covered by mainstream media. These riveting stories will be based on my research, and I will state my opinions and give my personal insight on diverse and controversial subjects and world events not covered by mainstream media, and not supported by YouTube guidelines. So whatever I have on my Patreon, most of those will not be on my YouTube channel. Please consider becoming a member today. More of the most significant and important videos will be on my Patreon channel. Your support helps me to continue my research and keeps this YouTube channel alive. And we depend on your support, your generous charity, because we help economically challenged families here in Athens, Greece, in Kapota, and we also help the young generation with university tuition and the community around our church. Thank you.